What's up, everybody? Beau-hindman back with another, let's talk about politics or disease. I don't know, let's talk about toys this time. Surprise, surprise. This time it's a bit different than what I normally do. Not really. I mean, this is definitely in my wheelhouse or whatever you'd say. But I don't normally buy a toy that is kind of prefabricated. I mean, I guess I do with action figures, but when it comes to, tiny big robots, then I usually buy ones that you put together or that you can customize or stuff like that. So this is a toy from a company called JoyToy. This is their 1/25th scale, I believe, 1/25th scale steelbone mech, one of the steelbone mechs. There's a few different kinds. When I bought this, I decided to go ahead and get this one in particular because it was a little bit on the cheaper side and it was on sale, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Even with the before sale price, it's about 90 bucks, $85, somewhere around there, 80 bucks. I got it for closer to 60 or something like that with shipping. The prices vary, but you can easily spend on this line of toys, these JoyToy toys, easily $100, $150 at the max. But what you get is pretty cool if you're into this particular type of thing. So when I first got it, I was pretty convinced it was going to be much larger. In fact, whenever I brought it into the house from getting it on the stoop, delivery or whatever, I remember I reached, whoa, look at that. I reached out to my wife. She was on a Zoom call for work, and I poked my head into her office with a dejected, kind of a sad face. Because the package was tiny, I thought, compared to what I thought it would be. So I did a little research, of course, and realized, oh, well, wait a second. I was kind of confused. Most of the reviews I had seen were for the 1/18th scale, which are more expensive, but much larger. Not a whole bunch larger, but quite a bit larger. But still, once I, got it open and played with it and everything, I really was really impressed, had a good time with it. So I don't think it's a bad deal at all. Let's just go over some of the basics of it here. You get these two guns, which I've told you on this channel before that I'm not a big gun dude. I just don't get into guns and bots. There's several reasons for that. I'm just not a gun guy in the first place. But with a giant robot, I think there'd be so much else you'd be doing with it other than just shooting a gun. It would just have guns built into its arms or something, But also, I like the more utilitarian use of the robots, like construction and, the practical stuff that if you had one of these things sitting around all day waiting, what would you be doing with it? And you'd be doing, like, digging ditches and, repair on stuff and, practical stuff. So, but it's still really fun to see those options if you need it. Each little finger moves here, the thumb and the fingers, so there's some really nice detail there. I'll tell you though, if you get one of these, be careful when you first open it up. When you pull the joints, make sure that you're grabbing like on both sides of joints like that. Don't just go crack, because you can break these. They are plastic. There might be some little metal parts in there. I don't think there are, but they're notorious for having a pretty tight fit. That wrist is not tight. It's actually quite loose. So be careful of that. And when you grab a part, just move it with your whole hand, or whatever. Just support it. Like I'm supporting it there in the back until it gets kind of loosened up. These are pretty well known that they do get loosened up over time, and you can see like that one. I hadn't moved that one yet, so it has this kind of pop. It does, maybe from the paint run. I'm not sure what that is. So just be really careful when you're moving these things around. They have a lot of flexibility, a lot of movability. They do some really cool positions and stuff. I'm not going to put them in too many positions because it's still new, so I don't want to necessarily hurt it. But you can get it in some really cool, man-like or human-like positions with patience. Me personally, I like how it looks just standing there. I prefer to display all my stuff. Oh, that's cool. Just standing there looking like they're, just kind of enjoying the way they look. I don't necessarily do big action poses and stuff. Those kind of get goofy to me after a while. But let's look also at the cockpit, because what you get with it, you get the two guns that come apart. You get this cool medic pack that can come out. And there's like a medical pack in there, which I'm not sure why it's there. I guess they could, I still don't know how they get in there. Then you get some add-on parts Why is that part turned? Oh, that turns. I didn't know that. You get a couple little add-on parts. This little, looks like a little shootery thing. Maybe that's for like smokes and heck, I don't know. You get these armor parts that are just, you just plug them in basically on the side. So they're a bit hard to get in. You can actually see there's still a gap on them. So be careful with those, but it took me a minute to figure out where those went. I had to watch somebody else's review just to figure out where those went. Thought they went on the side or something. This armor piece pops off here, which is cool. I kind of wish they were more, I kind of wish they were more permanently put on, but at the same time you can pull them off. You can see the details underneath. I think they have little optional areas like that so you can plug the gun in, you know, and carry it around there or something, or however else you want to do it. I'm guessing. Little armor pieces here that kind of come off. But that gives you a good idea of what the arm looks like. It's really, really cool, nice looking. And the paint job, as you can see, is really, really nice. I wish it was weathered a bit instead of just kind of flat coated. But the camo looks great. And this little cockpit here is really cool. As you can see, it pops out, and there she is in there, and you actually fold that forward, and she comes right out. So this gives you an idea of the size of the figures. What is that, 4 inches, 3 inches, maybe 4 inches, 3.5, something like that. It's whatever scale that is, you know. The figure's pretty cool. The paint job is just really okay. But she does have some nice details. She has a little pistol that fits in there. And it actually came with a bag of little bits. And I cannot figure out what those little bits are. The helmet is a bit awkward, a bit giant. I'd honestly just rather keep the helmet off. I think the helmet looks a little bit goofy, and it kind of fits a little bit, you know, poorly anyway. So she's pretty cool looking. But of course, the real star of the show is the mech. It's got some nice details in there. I like this size. It reminds me of Scope Dog, which is, Scope Dogs are probably my favorite kind of mech design. But what I like about what they've done here is, with a Scope Dog, where the arms connect to the body, there's not much thought into how thick the walls are. This seems to be supported pretty well. So you'd see there would be, you know, parts in there and stuff. And then you know what I'm saying? So there's joints and motors in there. So where it connects to this metal, it needs to be pretty heavy duty. And on a Scope Dog, it just kind of connects to the wall and doesn't look very, you know, realistic or whatever. And I would always hope that it would kind of be a little bit better. I'm not sure what these parts do here. Oh, they're like little jets. I see. Okay, so I didn't even notice that. So you can see the paint job there. There's a little bit of a grease job there, so that's really nice. So it's just got a fantastic look. The waist and everything moves really easily. But again, be careful when you first get these things because they will snap on you. And then you fold that down, you put her inside, and then you fold this up. Did I get it in there? Oh, there you go. It kind of pops in its place. So it's a really, really cool looking mech. But the question here is, if you're like me and your vibe or your theme is modular toys, but especially small, what I say small giant robots, meaning robots that are small scale but are supposed to represent a giant robot or something. You know, I don't want to take, if I got into these, especially the 1/18 scale, which would be much larger, could you imagine the room? You're going to need 60 shelves just for you know, the small army of these mechs you have. So you have to be careful about that. Is it worth the $80, $90 for one of these? As I hold it and play with it, it does feel really high quality. But one thing I have to say is I'm a little bit scared that the quality is not going to hold up over time if you played with this a lot, if you moved it around and messed with it a lot. So my thing is, it's worth it if you want to put it in a static pose, set it on a shelf, and just kind of have it look cool. Yeah, it's a good looking piece, but at that price, you can honestly buy an incredible gun plug kit or a couple of them that would equal a nice sized robot like this. So, but anyway, that is a little joytoy-steelbone. I like it. Probably not going to buy any more of them, but that is pretty damn impressive though. So, have a good one, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.